everyone, I am back doing another video, and this year you'll be able to find all my videos on the Grassroot Warriors Network and also all of the Vermont Pure Herbs Wild Edibles. So you can find me on a lot of different platforms. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on my website, which is vermontpureherbs.com, and any of the other outlets are all Vermont Pure Herbs. You can also Google Vermont Pure Herbs and you'll be able to find any of my products on my website. But for now, today we're going to be doing, I had to get that out of the way, we're going to be doing burdock. As you can see, this is all burdock down through here. We're going to talk about first year, second year, and the names, and a little brief description on burdock. This one here is your second year burdock. I get my camera to sit still here. First I want to talk about what parts we're going to be using. We're going to be using the burdock roots, the leaves, the stems, and the seeds. This is a biennial. It's a 2-year plant. Burdocks, the common names are thorny burr, gobo is a dish. Actually, we're going to be making that. Beggar's buttons, and there's 2 common naturalized species that I know of here, and the Latin names are Arctium minus and Arctium lapa. So the Arctium minus has the smaller flower seed heads, and the Arctium lapa is the more common species, and that's the one that we're going to be talking about today, is the Arctium lapa. Both species are used interchangeably as medicine. The roots of the Arctium lapa are commonly eaten as the dish called gobo. A burdock root contains 40% inulin, which helps stabilize the blood sugar. It's always a good thing. It's antibacterial, it's anti-inflammatory, anti-tumor. It also is a diuretic. There's so much that burdock is so useful for. It does help you to pee, and also sweating. So it helps with skin ailments because it rejuvenates the liver and it detoxifies the liver. So the liver, as we know, does pretty much everything. It stores a lot too. So let's get into the fun stuff here and talk about first year and second year. So I have, let's see here. Also, don't mistake these for rhubarb, because you can see these will look quite like rhubarb, and we're going to get into that, and I'm going to show you why it looks so close to. I don't have any rhubarb, but you can also take the video and go look at your rhubarb and compare it, and you'll see what I'm talking about, why it looks so similar. So the seeds we can grind up and make into a powder, and you can use them as in capsules, or you can make them into an extract or a tincture. People call them tinctures. Also, that burdock root will also detoxifies the liver to the point where it will remove heavy metals. It helps with your lymphatic, skin issues, purifies the blood. So if you have like a blood issue or blood conditions, drinking this as a tea every day probably would be a great idea, because we're gonna make the coffee, which is pretty good. It can be a little bitter, but I don't mind it first thing in the springtime. It's a great way to detoxify all that winter sludge. It's a great, powerful rejuvenator, and you can use it. You can drink it every day. It's not going to harm you. Helps with the liver and kidney and spleen. So I mean, those are really important. So as an extract, you can also, you can get the extracts from me also. I do carry them and I do make them. So, okay, so let's move on, and we'll talk about this one here. This here is your second year, and how you can tell is they're so huge. These leaves are really, really big. Like, they're bigger than my hand, and they grow so fast. So we're going to have some shoots that are going to start coming up from the center. There's a lot of bugs in there. But that's okay. Those are roly-polies. Actually, roly-polies are good. Roly-polies actually are good for your ground. They do remove heavy metals. Here's your burrs. They're like a Velcro. That's where Velcro actually came from. If you get close enough, you could actually see them. Magnifying glass. So this is your second year. How I know this is because I've already dug up some of the roots and they were very woody. And I'll show those in my next video when we bring you inside. So right now I'm going to show you, these are the second year with all the burrs, which I have already collected some. Here are your burrs, and inside your burrs are your seeds. I have a whole bag of them. I'm going to show you those in a minute. Just don't play around with these too much. They can really make you itchy, and they'll clump together. So how I collect them is I take a bag, and I take my bag with scissors. You can use your basket too. You can use a basket. You can use whatever you want, plastic bag. I don't really prefer like plastic. But you see how they all clump together? I picked a whole bunch of them earlier today before I started the video. And then if you shake them in the bag, and if you pound them with like a soft mallet in the bag, the seeds will pop out. Then you can save your seeds. You can winnow them. Winnowing means when the wind's blowing, all these little pieces will fly away. You can see them. If you do this, the pieces of the burrs that are stuck to it will fly away. You could keep doing that, but I'd wear gloves doing it. Sometimes my hands will be really itchy because they're small, tiny barbs, I want to say, that you can't really see with your eyes. So the seeds, what I do is I take them and I grind them up. And you can put them in capsule form, or you can just extract them, which is really great for the liver. It's another way of using the seeds. Or you can plant them and grow your own burdock. I know they say, why would you grow burdock? Well, because your first year burdock is where all your medicine is. And it's actually also where all of your wild edible, you can make wild edible with your first year. So let's go over here and we're going to show you the first year so you can see all the burrs. Here's a first, no, sorry, this is the second year. This is the second year. And how I know the first year is because they're smaller. There's another big one. They're going to shoot up the second year is going to shoot up a stalk. I don't have any stalks right now to show you. But the second year, you can peel the stalks back and you can eat them raw. So it is a staple food. We have some evening primrose here too. I didn't mean to jump off the subject, but I'll do some evening primrose later, a video of them. Now that I know the seeds are going to start spreading. Evening primrose is really good with burdock root. They make a great dish, and dandelion, all three of them together make a great stir fry. There's some more of your last year, second, which is last year's second year, always have their flowers and their burrs. These are all going to have stalks this year, and I don't mow here purposely so I can have the burdock. And I wanted to do this video this year, second year. Now we're going to go down here and I'm going to show you. This is last year, so I have a lot of seeds to be collecting for this year. So here's a first year. Look how small. Can you see the difference? Now if I dig this up, it'll be a nice, beautiful root. And I should have brought my shovel out to show you. I don't have a pause button on here. I don't have a shovel to dig it out, but we're gonna, in the second video, I'm gonna show you all of the first and the second year so that you can see what they look like. I'll have pictures so you won't be lost. So this is a first. This is a first year. There's small rosettes. They call them rosettes because they look like a rosette circling around. And we have a bunch more here. Let's take a walk over here. Some yarrow. Lots of yarrow. There's a lot of herbs here. People call them weeds, I call them herbs. So these are second year. And I can tell because they're larger leaves. Let's back up here. Here's the first year. These are first year. They're smaller. I doubt I'll be able to pull it out of the ground because these go down so deep and they'll break off. So you never really can get them. Same with dandelions. You can pull and pull and pull and you end up with nothing. False hope. But that's okay because we have shovels and we can definitely pull them up. So here we have, right around all of here, we have your curly dock, your dandelion, your plantain. We're going to do videos on all of these. I already have a lot of them that are on my YouTube channel. So they're all edible. They're all medicinal. I got some mugwort here too. I also have some garlic that actually came back up. So you could make like a huge salad and a stir fry off of this food here. It's all medicinal, all wild edible. You never go hungry if you come to my house. All right, here's another first year. These are first year. There's probably about 2 roots here. So I'd say I brought about 15 roots all around here. Nice, good size roots, a size a little bit bigger than my thumb. Maybe twice the size of my thumb. But these are and this is wild carrot, but I err on the side of not playing with wild carrot because wild carrot and water hemlock look so similar to each other. So if you start playing with it and you don't realize what it is, it's deadly. So first year burdock leaves. You can harvest the leaves. We'll take the leaves off, wash them up, and stir fry them. We're going to do that in the next video. I'm just going to combine the 2 videos together for you. It's so much easier. And fill your pot right up with these and simmer them on the stove between 7 and 10 minutes. The reason why we do that is not because they're toxic, but because they're very bitter. And remember, bitter is for the liver, and the liver loves bitter herbs because that's what helps to get the gallbladder going, and it cleanses out everything. And it will make your bowels move. No, I mean not extremely move, but you know what I mean. It'll really help. So these tips here are really nice. To me, they remind me of like a Swiss chard. I mean, everybody has their own taste buds. So you want to take these smaller leaves. You can, by all means, you can use first year and second year leaves. I've done first year and second year leaves, and you want to do it in 2 changes of water. So when your 7 to 10 minutes is up, you just switch it, rinse it out, and switch it to another pot of water. And usually that helps it to get rid of all the bitterness. And then they taste amazing. So we're going to do that in the other video. But this is what you want to harvest. You got the white underneath, the ribbed white underneath. Do another extended research. I mean, there's a lot more than what I'm telling you. I'm just giving you an example of, what we have for medicine here, for food and medicine. So this is all this here is garlic that was left over that's coming up. So I used it in my stir fry. I'm going to use it in the stir fry. I've used it in the past. So if you have a little patch around your home, it's good to leave it untouched so you can have these wonderful wild edibles. Here's the first year. Here's another first year. They're like all over. And because the burrs have little hitchhikers and the wind blows them all over. Here's another first year. Let's go back to the second year and I'll show you the difference. Now, would you think that's a first year or a second year? This is the second year. These are going to shoot up their stalks, and then I'll be able to eat the stalks on them. These stalks, but they've obviously gone by. If you take the stalks, you're not going to get much of these burrs. So, second year, you just have to have an eye for it. You have to do it enough times to understand that, there's a first year and a second year, and the second year you can, On the second year, again, you can eat the leaves. You have to boil them in 2 changes of water so they're not so bitter, unless you don't mind the bitter taste. The second year, you can use the stalks. You can eat the stalks, you can peel them. You can eat them raw, or you can eat them cooked or steamed. The second year is also, if you leave them, you'll have your burrs, your seeds. So you have your seeds. Here's a big one. Now, if I were to eat the stalk off of that, there would have never been any flowers. But it's okay because I have plenty of them here. So your first year, you're eating the leaves and you're eating the roots. Now your second year roots are way too woody. There's no medicine in them. Just leave them alone. Just don't even bother with them. But if you happen to dig one up and you realize it's too woody, then there's really no food or medicine in it. But you can eat the leaves on the second year. And that's it, folks. I just wanted to give you a rundown on the burdock. We are going to be harvesting these seeds. Look how many seeds come in. It's hard doing this with one hand. There's a lot of seeds in each one of these. It was raining earlier, but now it turned out really beautiful. So there's your burrs. And like I said, they hook onto animals, they hitchhike on animals. So when the animals get stuck on their fur and they pull it off, the seeds get scattered. That's how things work. They get stuck on our pant legs, our shoes. Shoelaces are the best place they like to stick. In your hair. It was a creation for Velcro. I'm going to save that. And this is Velcro, happened to be on my jacket. This is where Velcro was created. Interesting. Somebody was smart and said, "Ooh, let's use that for Velcro." So again, here we go. Burdock, first year, second year, roots, the burrs, the seeds, the stalks, the roots, the leaves, the stems. It's all food. It's all medicine. So we'll be going in the kitchen. We're going to dig up roots. We're going to bring them in the kitchen. We're going to wash everything. We're going to cook them. We're going to make a dish with them. We'll stir fry the leaves. We're going to stir fry them with some garlic and some ginger. And we're going to have a nice little dish. So join me in the kitchen. We'll be going in there in a little bit. I hope you all enjoyed this short video. Wish it was a little bit longer. The birds are making beautiful noise out here, chirping away. It's a beautiful sunny day out. Turned out to be beautiful. Leave comments. Let me know what you're interested in learning. I want to show you one more herb before I leave. Super excited about this herb that I found in my, where I throw all my herbs and stuff pile. Pretty excited about this. If you've never seen purple dead nettle, this is purple dead nettle. I'll be doing a video on the purple dead nettle and how we eat it and stir fry it up along with the nettles. Now they're not picky. They don't have the thorn like the other nettles do. But I was pretty excited to find that, and that's going to be another video we're going to do. I do have videos already on nettles, but I'm going to do another video on nettles and the purple dead nettle. In the meantime, you can go Google and look it up. Don't believe everything you read on Google. Just pay attention to that. You find really good books. And if you find 3 really good books and they all say the same thing, you can trust that. That's what we were taught. And you can you can also get to Peterson's Guide and start, looking them up. But I'm hoping you got a lot out of this, and I explained a lot. And we'll just go from there, and we'll be able to cook some of this yummy stuff in the kitchen today. Again, join us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And I'm going to be on the Grassroot Warriors Network. And that would be on Rumble. This is my first video for the Rumble station, so bear with me. We're all learning. We're all in this together. So I hope you enjoy this video and be safe. You definitely can do this. I will have my own classes here, so you can come learn some hands-on. You can always look me up. You can leave messages for me, or you can email me also at vermontpureherbs@gmail.com. All right, folks, be safe. Harvest as many wild edibles as you possibly can. Learn what you need to, and find your own medicine. And another thing, be your own doctor. You have to learn to trust your instincts and be your own person, that you can be able to go out and harvest and find your own wild edibles. Have a great evening. Peace. Hey folks, I'm back with you for another year of fun-filled videos of wild edibles in Vermont. I am going to be on Grassroot Warriors Network on Rumble, so you can find all of my videos and other videos on that network on Rumble. There'll be a link in there so you can click on to watch any of my videos. I am a holistic practitioner. I'm a master herbalist. My name is Tammy. A lot of people just know me as Vermont Pure Herbs. Vermont Pure Herbs is also my website, my YouTube channel, my Instagram, and my Facebook. So you can find me really anywhere. So a lot of you already know me, and I do a lot of wild edibles, how to eat off of the land. I also make a lot of medicinals. I make over 250 products, a lot of extracts, and today we're going to do the video on burdock root. First I'm going to show you one of the burdocks. Reason why I'm showing you this is because this burdock is a second-year burdock root, and you can see how woody it is. We wouldn't use this for medicine because it's already kind of old. It's a second year. And then the huge fan leaves, like I have eaten these. They're bitter as heck, but you can wrap food in them and cook food in these, you know, kind of like corn or other foods that you want to eat. So these are basically too woody to actually eat, or to make medicine with. So the only reason why I had dug it up was to show you. And also in here, this part here, you can cut from here to here, and I'll show you that too. It tastes like a soft celery, artichoke. Actually, it tastes just like an artichoke. You can steam it. So that's the reason why I brought this one in, was just to show you how big these leaves get. This is a second year. So this is a biannual plant. It's the first year. It's a second. Biannual means 2 years. The first year it will send up its rosettes, and you'll see that in the video. And the second year will throw its seeds. It'll have its stalk, and then its seeds, and the stalks will come out of here. You'll see it in the pictures that I'll have also. So your stalk will come up, and you can actually eat the stalk also. The stalk can be peeled, and it can be eaten raw, or you can, steam it. I like them raw and just chop it up. So the reason why I brought this in was just to show you, look how woody it is inside here. Like, you can't use that for medicine. It's tough, very, very tough. But this part here, here's one. Now, the reason why I left this out, this was steamed. This is that part I just showed you. Tastes just like an artichoke. I left it out because I'm going to eat it. So I did prep everything for the stir fry. Now, I cooked you want to cook your leaves in two pots of water, not because they're toxic, but because they're so bitter. So this is already prepped and chopped up. So what I did was I started the leaves in one pot of water for between, I'd say, 5 to 7 minutes. I left them about 7 minutes. And then you change the water, you rinse it, and then you put another pot of water and you do it again. I know it sounds like it's tedious, why bother? Well, because burdock is very beneficial. It's good for you. It's great for your liver. It's very detoxifying. And the leaves, it makes a nice dish. If you were starving, you do it. You would be able to do it. Unless you were walking in the woods and you were lost, you could dig a root up and wash it in the rivers or wherever and eat the root for survival foods. There's a lot of survival foods. People just don't, they've never been taught. So I prepped everything. This is steamed. These are the roots. I just showed you different ways of chopping them up. They're just steamed. They call it gobo. You can look that up. Gobo is just a way they make a dish. I'm doing a small amount. I did some carrots, and ginger is my ginger. You can always find wild ginger in the woods. This is my ginger that I grew, and I had froze a lot of it so I could use it in my cooking. And this, believe it or not, are not onions, I'm sorry. You can find wild onions too, but this is my garlic tops that came up. I have a lot of garlic in a lot of different places that just decided they wanted to come back up this year. So I'm like, oh, I'll take advantage of that. So I'm gonna make my stir fry with it. So because I didn't show you how to do this, I'm actually telling you. It's a lot easier to show, but when it comes to time and preparation, I'm going to be honest with you, it took me a little over 4 hours, 5 hours to prep everything today, and you'll see why, because there's more than just a stir fry I'm going to show you. Okay, so the stir fry is very simple. Whoops, my microphone stuck. So I have it on low because it was already, hot. So basically everything is pretty much prepped. We're just going to put it in. Don't cook stuff on high because it will burn it. Everything's pretty much, the carrots they're not cooked, but they're prepped. And then you have your ginger. You could put whatever you want in this. It's entirely up to you. You don't have to put all this in here. If you just wanted, burdock by itself, you definitely could do that too. I like it because this is how I was taught many, many, many years ago. We always had ginger and garlic and whatever we found, whatever we could find. My teachers would be like, oh, let's put this in there, let's put that in there. It was always fun. It was never dull. But I'll tell you, your house will smell amazing. So the reason why I put a little water in there, as you can see it steam. That's why you don't want this on high, because you'll get burned. Nobody needs to get burned. And then how you're going to tell this is done, because you've already pre-cooked these burdock, and you can slice them any way you want. You can cook them you can slice them that way, you can slice them long like matchsticks. You can tell when this is done when your carrots are soft. And it doesn't really take very long. This part here is basically they're partially done. I just kind of play around a lot with the temperature because I don't want to burn it. I don't want to overcook it. So let's talk about burdock for a minute. So burdock, you can use the leaves, the stems, the seeds, the roots. Basically the whole burdock there's use for all of it. The roots, of course, we see here, we're using that, but you can use the roots too as medicine. And I make a lot of burdock extract, and my burdock extracts they're great for the liver. They do detoxify the liver. They do pull out heavy metals. It also contains 40% inulin. It stabilizes the blood sugar. It's an alterative. It's an antibacterial. It's a diaphoretic. It'll help you pee. And it's a diuretic, nutritive, anti-tumor, anti-inflammatory. There's more. I'm just giving you like a little touch of what burdock can do for you. You can do an extensive, more research than what I'm actually telling you. I like to give you like a little bit of excitement and tell you what some things are, and people get excited and go, oh, I got to learn more about this. And that's what you should do. It's actually one of the ingredients in the Essiac blend, the herbs that's used for cancer. It also great for swollen lymph nodes. So it works slowly and steady on the body to help bring balance It's useful for the liver ailments and skin disease. So there's a whole lot of stuff that that burdock can do. And I talked about a lot of it, showing you the basil, the rosettes, the first year and second year, and then the seeds. I don't have the seeds prepped. I wish I did. I don't have them prepped, but I could probably do that in another video. And there's no stalks right now, so I can't do the stalks to show you. But if you ever come across the stalks, usually if they're hollow, that's not what you're looking for. You want them to be like thick inside and solid. Same with these guys. But you see some of these are hollow. That's okay. They're still, I did taste them and they're pretty good. So you're okay with that. If they're woody, it's not going to hurt you. It's just not going to be very tasty, and you're going to waste your time. So just throw it out or compost it. Never throw it out. Just compost things. Either the animals will eat it. Well, then again, I think the reason why burdock is so bitter, and I really do think it's because it keeps the animals away from it. And there's a golden rule usually with wild edible: if it's bitter, don't eat it. Spit it out. It's toxic. But with the exception of dandelion and burdock, which I can say this because I've done it many, many times, and that's what we were taught. But I'm pretty sure there's probably others, but the ones that I do right now that I know of is the dandelion and burdock that are, if they're bitter, they're not toxic. They're not going to harm you at all. All right, so we can move along. Where we're at here. And remember that the leaves, the big leaves, they're similar to rhubarb leaves, which are very toxic, so you don't want to eat the rhubarb. And a lot of people grow rhubarb, and it does look similar to rhubarb, so just be careful with that. So I do stir fry mine, you see, with the ginger and the garlic. I do like it. The flavor is really nice when you do it that way. Can't seem to get my temperature up here. I just don't want to overdo it, get it too hot. It starts spitting all over. But you'll see once this is done, then I'm going to throw in the leaves. And it's basically just to warm them up and give it the flavor. You don't need salt, you don't need pepper. We eat too much salt on our food anyways today. And this is made with coconut oil. You don't have to use coconut oil. If people have allergies, you can use vegetable oil. I do like to cook in cast iron pans. It makes our wild edibles taste so much better. Unless, of course, you're stranded in the woods, you're not really cooking much. You're going to eat it raw. And if you can tolerate the bitterness, which, the bitters don't bother me. That was the first thing I think we ever learned were the bitters. It's great for your liver. So, like I said, the burdock root has the ability to purify toxins from the deepest places of our liver. So stagnant livers, it removes toxic hormones from the liver that have been ingested from external sources like metals, plastics, herbicides, fungicides, all those nasty things that are out there. So make sure when you're harvesting, and I've said this before too, don't do it on the sides of roads, because all that salt they're using on the roads now is really got some heavy stuff in it. Plus, the runoff and the toxins from cars, from gas and oil, and there are heavy metals in that, believe it or not. We breathe that in all the time. It could take from a month to like a year to cleanse a body. People don't really understand that. You have to, you can't keep feeding it toxins if you want it to get better. So this is almost done, and I'm going to, you can tell when the carrots start to get see how soft the carrots are? You can cook it a lot faster, but for me, I'm just demonstrating. I just turned it up a little bit more. And this is really good. Like the ginger and of course, the garlic, last year's garlic, a bunch of them came up. I think some of them just went dormant and they were like, all right, we don't want to come up right now. We're going to come up later. We'll come up next year for you. You can use it for your class. The other class after this one is the dandelion class, so that's going to be huge. It's going to probably take me days to get that one all set up. So when this is done, you can put it over rice, quinoa. So here are the leaves. I showed you that before, and yes, I'm using my hands because nobody else is eating this but me. My hands are clean. So the leaves, basically, I already did them in 2 changes of water. And now I'm just going to add them to the stir fry, and basically just to warm it up and incorporate it for the flavor. And then you'll see when we dish it, it's going to look really nice. Glad I have my microphone, because crackling, I notice when I go back and listen to my videos, people can't hear me. It's so loud. And never walk away from these wild edibles because they will burn. They'll burn fast. Especially cast iron holds its heat for a long time. So even if I shut this off, it would still cook for another 5 minutes. There's something about cast iron that makes our food taste so much better. Also, the seeds, which I don't have the seeds yet. I'll probably do a short video on that later on when the stalks come up. And the seeds I can do now, but I didn't have time to harvest them today. I'm going to go get a bag, and I'm going to cut all the seeds, or pull all the seeds off. Usually I take scissors and chop them off. Otherwise, you just stick to everything. They're hitchhikers, and that's how they get spread around, is by animals. And the burrs stick onto everything, and the seeds get spread around that way. Not that the animals eat them. Doesn't that look pretty? See, I like the carrots because it does give it some really nice color. So you can take the seeds and you can grind them into a powder, and the seeds you can grind them to a powder, and then you can put them in capsules and take like 1 or 2 a day. There, this is getting almost done. It smells so good. So yeah, there's so much you can do. The seeds are great for chronic skin disorders, eczema, psoriasis, dermatitis, and sometimes associated with fibromyalgia and autoimmune disorders. The seeds have, like I said, anti-inflammatory and antioxidant activity. The seeds are diuretic, so that's how they help with the rashes and other skin conditions, because it helps to flush out any toxins. People eat too much salt and their legs swell, and then they don't pee, and then there's a lot of these herbs really are diuretic. A lot of your wild edibles are diuretic. These are the first ones that come up, your dandelion and your burdock, and there's others, but these are your detoxifiers. And our liver needs a lot of help. People are eating a lot of genetically modified foods and garbage. So we really need to be more mindful. Like, this is a meal right here. And it's very filling. And your liver will love you. It will really love you. So I made also pickled burdock root, and we're going to talk about that in a minute because this is almost done. All I wanted to do was really get the flavor of the garlic and the ginger into the leaves. I'll tell you, if you don't do these leaves in 2 changes of water, whoop, they're bitter. They are very bitter. You're not stir frying those fresh. You have to do them in a change of water. And I chop them up, try to chop them up, because they have some fine hairs in them. I probably could have chopped them up a little bit more. Looks like spinach, doesn't it? Alright, so I'm going to shut this off because I think it's pretty much done. See, I want to get it a little closer to you so you can really see it. Oh, can you see that? There's carrots, ginger, garlic from my gardens from last year. This is my ginger also. These aren't my carrots, but I do grow a lot of carrots. So yeah, who needs a grocery store? These are wild edibles, folks. This is something you can do in your backyard. You know, harvesting all of it in your backyard. So I'm gonna go plate it up, and then I'm gonna come back over here and try to my microphone. I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna plate it up and show you what it's gonna look like. It's very pretty. Make sure you wear a mitt when you do this. So these pans are hot. So if I had some rice or quinoa, I would do it on rice or quinoa, you know, put it on rice and quinoa. That pan is so big. Let's just move that out of the way, and look at how pretty that is. That's like dinner. Dinner for champions. Okay, so that's the stir fry. Let's bring it over here. And I'm going to show you all the other yummy things that we can do with burdock. So you get your stir fry, which really doesn't really take that long. I just did a whole bunch of stuff today. So there's your stir fry. And then we have your dandelion root coffee. Oh, sorry, I got the dandelion on the brain. This is your burdock root coffee. And I used one of these with a filter, set it on top. And then what I did was I roasted, you dry your burdock and you roast it, and you grind it in a little grinder, and this is what it comes out to be. Like a nice coffee substitute. Your dandelion will look like this also. They're very similar, dandelion and burdock. I think the dandelions are much tastier. They're pretty similar. And then what I do when I'm making the coffee is it is bitter. I can't say it's not. It's bitter like coffee. You know how coffee can be very bitter. Is I just put some in my cup. It is very good. Very, very earthy. You can use coconut sugar. I don't like using fake stuff. Or you can use agave, organic blue agave. I like both of them. I'll probably just do a little bit of this. So you just want a little bit of that. Or you can do maple syrup. I just didn't grab my maple syrup. I like rice milk or coconut milk. If you can't do coconut, just use the rice milk or almond milk or whatever kind of milk you want. And this is my, you can make it into an iced coffee, or you can just make it into a coffee by itself. And you know how good this is for your liver? This is amazing. Like, your liver will absolutely love you. And you know what you could do? You could store your roots for the winter. Like, you could just keep pulling those burdock up, dry them on a cookie sheet. You just leave them on the counter and you can dry them on a cookie sheet, or you can roast them and then store them, but you're going to roast them anyways for the coffee. So that's that. This is what I had today. This is actually, I want to drink. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love that. I love the dandelion root one too. So here is the next thing I made today. These are pickled burdock roots. So, you know, you can see why it took me so many hours today in the kitchen. So I only made one jar. There is garlic here from my gardens, and there's ginger in here also. And so this brine, I have a whole recipe for the brine. I'm going to tell you the recipe. The recipe for the pickled burdock root, you steam your first year roots. Remember, the second year are pretty woody. And you're going to steam them. And then once they don't take very long. Well, before you do that, you want to wash and peel everything. Because remember, it's going to look, I mean, this is what it's going to look like. So this is the second year. Don't use your second year. The second year are huge. I have lots of pictures that I'll add into this video that you'll be able to see your first year and second year, you know, the difference. And that's how you can really tell. This is like so woody, you can't do anything with it, really. So you're going to peel them so they're white. I'll have pictures of those also. And steam them till they're tender. And then I steam mine with I put ginger in the water and onions. You can use leeks if you have leeks or chives around you. From like all my chives came up like crazy this year. I cut them all down and put them in my dehydrator so I can dry them, because I make a lot of cashew cream cheese and I throw chives in with it. So your choice, you can put whatever you want. And while I'm steaming the burdock, you know, all this brine, the water that you're steaming it with is what you're going to use for your brine. When it's done, you add them to your jar. And then your brine, you can use tamari or coconut aminos, like a little bit of apple cider vinegar, like a teaspoon. Don't do too much because it'll overpower it. And you can use maple syrup if you want, or if you like it sweet. You don't have to, but some people do. And you mix your brine. You pour it over the burdock, and I just let it sit like that so it actually will seal the jar. And let it sit for a few days before eating, and you could place it in the refrigerator, and it does last a long time. See, it's already sealed because I had it upside down. But that's your burdock, pickled burdock. I can't wait to actually try that. I have made this plenty of times before. So that's your pickled burdock root. And this is your coconut aminos that you can use into your brine. It's actually not too bad. Soy-free, gluten-free, organic. That's what you want. So that's it for the burdock so far. There's a lot more. There really, really is. Let's look at the food so far. So just from your burdock, we have stir fry. I did find wild carrot today, but I'm not going to be doing wild carrot because too many people confuse it with water hemlock. They don't understand the difference between the two. So if you have carrots that you've grown or harvested or you bought, then you could use the carrot with it. So we have the stir fry. You could put it on rice or quinoa or have it just the way it is. We have your pickled burdock, which, you know, you could put that on the side of the plate as a lovely dish, side dish. And then you have your drink, which is your lovely coffee. You can have an iced coffee, or you can have it cold. Or you can have it hot, or iced coffee, have it cold. So there you go, folks. This was part of a burdock video. The other part is talking about the plant outside and the seeds and, you know, what parts to harvest and all that yummy stuff. So we're going to combine these videos together so that you get the picture of everything, you know, the outdoors and the cooking part. Two parts to it. So I hope you enjoyed this. We will be back doing lots of other wild edible videos, and you can find me, like I said, everywhere. Basically just put Vermont Pure Herbs and you can find me, but I will be on Grassroot Warriors Network, and that's on a Rumble. So please check it out there. We have a lot of other people on there that are going to be hosting lots of other videos too, educational. So be well, take care, and peace.